Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Behind the Bulletin. Today, we uncover a story that has taken the entertainment world by storm, a revelation so unexpected, so electrifying, that it has left fans breathless and the industry scrambling for answers. Unthinkable twist. Park Bo-gum at the center of a sudden crisis rocking IU and Lee Jong-suk. What happened behind the scenes? How did one unexpected connection spark chaos between two of Korea's most admired stars? Stay with us as we peel back every layer, veil every hidden detail, and dive into the shocking truth. Right now, the entertainment world had barely recovered from its last wave of drama when a sudden, devastating twist ripped through the calm. It began with a quiet rumor, a whisper too sharp to ignore, spreading like wildfire across social media. Within minutes, IU and Lee Jong-suk, once seen as one of the most stable couples in the industry, found themselves dragged into a storm they never saw coming. And at the center of that storm, shockingly, impossibly, stood Park Bo-gum. It started on an ordinary afternoon. IU had just wrapped up a private studio session. Smiling softly as she stepped outside into the crisp winter air, she looked peaceful, unaware that her phone was already exploding with alerts. At the same time, Lee Jong-suk was filming a late-night segment for a year-end special, completely focused on his lines. Both of them were living the final calm before the hurricane. The first spark came from a blurry photo, Park Bo-gum exiting a building late at night with someone whose face was hidden under a hood. No proof, no context. But speculation didn't need oxygen to burn, it needed fuel. And fuel appeared instantly when someone claimed the location belonged to a well-known producer connected to IU's latest project. From there, the internet crafted an entire narrative out of shadows. They said Bo-gum had been secretly meeting with IU. They said Lee Jong-suk had confronted him. They said the couple was on the brink of a painful, public fallout. IU's manager burst into the studio, face pale, holding a phone that wouldn't stop vibrating. "Need to see this," he said. IU frowned, taking the phone, and her world froze. Comment after comment surged across the screen, twisting the harmless photo into a weapon aimed directly at her relationship. She felt the air leave her lungs, her mind racing through every possibility, every misunderstanding that could spiral out of control. Meanwhile, on set, Jong-suk's assistant rushed toward him mid-shoot, whispering urgently in his ear. His expression collapsed, the calm completely wiped from his face. He stared at the screen in disbelief, eyebrows tightening as he scrolled. The headlines were merciless, crafted to destroy rather than inform. Love triangle explosion. IU caught in late-night scandal. Park Bo-gum and Lee Jong-suk in hidden conflict. Jong-suk felt heat rise behind his eyes, not anger, but fear. Fear that the quiet, fragile relationship he had protected so carefully was suddenly being ripped apart by a lie. Park Bo-gum, unaware of the chaos, was on his way to a charity rehearsal when his phone lit up. He opened the first message, then the second, then the 20th. Confusion flickered across his features, quickly turning into dread as he realized what was happening. He hadn't even spoken to IU in months. Yet somehow he had become the centerpiece of a scandal, threatening to break apart one of the industry's most admired couples. His heart pounded as guilt crept in, not because he had done anything wrong, but because his silence might be allowing the rumor to grow teeth. IU called him first. The moment he heard her voice, shaky, fragile, he knew how far the rumor had already spread. "Bo-gum, did you see it?" she whispered. "They're saying you were meeting me. They're saying Jong-suk is furious." Bo-gum lowered his voice, calming, steady. But the tightness in his chest betrayed his worry. "Fix this. I'll speak up. Don't let it get to you." But even as he spoke, he knew it wouldn't be simple. The internet didn't want explanations, it wanted spectacle. Jong-suk, overwhelmed by the rapid assault of headlines, drove straight to IU's studio. When he walked in, she was sitting silently in the corner, hands clasped so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Their eyes met, heavy with unspoken fear. Jong-suk crossed the room in seconds, and before her, gently holding her trembling hands. "Don't believe any of it," he said softly. "But we need to get ahead of this. Together." The fragile calm between them shook as outside the building. Reporters crowded the entrance, cameras ready to capture any crack in their relationship. Scandal only escalated when a second photo surfaced, Park Bo-gum inside a cafe. sitting across from someone whose profile vaguely resembled IU's. It didn't matter that the lighting was distorted, that the angle was misleading. The public wanted the narrative to be true. Hashtags surged to the top of every platform. Comment sections erupted with panic, accusations, and heartbreak. Fans split into factions. Some defending, some attacking, some demanding immediate explanations. Bogum knew the only way to stop this was to make a public statement. But his agency hesitated, worried that addressing the rumor directly would legitimize it. IU's agency wanted silence. Jong-suk's agency wanted clarity. And trapped between conflicting strategies, the truth began to drown under waves of speculation. As midnight approached, Bogum stood alone on the balcony of his apartment. At the flashing skyline, the weight of two careers, two hearts, and a nation of watchers pressed down on him. He never intended to stand in the middle of someone else's love story. Yet now, unintentionally, is the axis around which the entire crisis spun. And the darkest twist was still coming. Because someone, somewhere, was deliberately feeding the fire. The longer the silence lasted, the louder the chaos grew. By dawn, the scandal had reached a fever pitch. News programs rearranged their broadcasts to cover the IU Jong-suk Bogum triangle. Tabloids released fabricated timelines, claiming secret meetings, arguments, and betrayal. Fans camped outside agencies, desperate for answers. The internet had turned into a battlefield, and every hour without a statement felt like gasoline thrown onto the flames. Park Bogum knew he couldn't wait any longer. He requested an emergency press briefing, despite his agency's protests. The team scrambled to prepare. An anonymous account released a new bombshell, a video clip, blurry, shaky, but explosive, showing two silhouettes arguing outside a building. One figure resembled Lee Jong-suk. The other? Park Bogum. It didn't matter that the lighting was terrible. It didn't matter that the second figure didn't actually match Bogum's height. The moment the clip spread, the world decided the argument was real. Narratives hardened like cement, Jong-suk confronting Bogum about IU. Bogum denying involvement. You're being dragged in again as comparison. The internet sculpted a completely fictional story out of shadows. But the damage was brutal. IU watched the clip from her apartment couch. Heartbeat erratic, hands trembling. It wasn't just the rumor anymore, it was the illusion of conflict between two people she cared about. Grabbed her coat, ignoring her manager's pleas, and rushed out before anyone could stop her. At the same time, Jong-suk, overwhelmed by the relentless noise, drove through the early morning chaos to meet Bogum in person. He wasn't angry, not at Bogum, but he needed clarity. Needed something real to hold on to before the world devoured them alive. Bogum arrived at the same time, stepping out of his car with a look that was equal parts guilt and exhaustion. They stood in the quiet alley behind a rehearsal building, far away from cameras. Bogum bowed deeply the moment he saw Jong-suk. "I'm sorry," he said, voice heavy. "I never meant to be involved in something that affects you and IU." Jong-suk exhaled sharply, rubbing his forehead. "I know the situation, it's out of control." For a moment, both men stood there in silence, two actors trapped in a script neither had written. Then IU appeared. She ran into the alley, breathless, cheeks flushed, wide with fear and relief. "Stop," she gasped. "Let them twist this into something it's not." Jong-suk reached out instinctively, steadying her as she stumbled. Bogum froze, startled to see her so distressed. The three of them stood together, the very image the world wanted to distort, but in the quiet morning light, the truth felt painfully human. Before a single explanation could be exchanged, a sharp click sliced through the air. A camera reporter had followed IU. The moment he captured the image of Jong-suk, IU, and Bogum standing together, his grin widened. In seconds, more photographers emerged from behind dumpsters, staircases, parked cars, an ambush waiting for the perfect shot. Flashlights exploded like lightning strikes, blinding them. Shielded her face. Jong-suk pulled her close. Bogum stepped forward in an attempt to block the angles. It was too late. The photos hit the internet within minutes. Millions of views in seconds. The confrontation caught on camera. IU in tears between two men. Love triangle confirmed. The scandal mutated into a monster no agency could contain. Bogum, breath shaking, realized what needed to be done. He called a press conference on his own authority, no scripts, no executives, no filters. Jong-suk and IU, though nervous, agreed to stand by his side. It was the only way to reclaim their story before it was stolen completely. The conference hall was packed beyond capacity. Cameras pointed like loaded weapons. The world waited. Bogum approached the podium first. His voice was calm, steady, laced with fire. The rumors involving me, IU, and Lee Jong-suk are false. I have no personal relationship with IU beyond professional respect. I am not involved in their private matters. Nor have I caused any conflict. Reporters murmured, hungry for cracks in the narrative. IU stepped up next, her voice trembling but fierce. The rumors have hurt people who did nothing wrong. This needs to stop. Jong-suk followed, placing a steady hand on her back. No love triangle. There is no scandal. As someone who has been deliberately spreading manipulated content. The room erupted in shock. Bogum delivered the final blow. We have identified the source. A former staff member involved in editing IU's project footage leaked doctored images and audio to tabloid, hoping to profit. Gasps cut through the silence. It was the twist no one expected. The real culprit wasn't a celebrity. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't secret meetings. It was greed, simple, destructive greed. It spread across the internet faster than the rumor ever had. Opinion flipped instantly, turning from suspicion to fury at the saboteur. IU and Jong-suk's fans united in defense. Bogum's reputation soared for his bravery and transparency. For a moment, the industry paused, stunned at the power of three stars standing together against a manufactured storm. Later that night, the three met in quiet again, not as victims of a scandal, but as survivors of it. IU laughed weakly. Jong-suk sighed in relief. Bogum finally allowed himself a tired smile. The crisis was over. The bond between them, though tested, had only grown stronger. The quiet that followed the storm. The entertainment world took a long breath. The truth had finally risen above the noise, cutting through the chaos like a clean blade. The scandal that once threatened to shatter careers, friendships, and fragile trust now dissolved into a cautionary tale about how easily lives can be twisted by shadows and lies. IU, Lee Jong-suk, and Park Bogum emerged not as rivals in a fabricated drama but as three individuals bound by resilience, clarity, and the courage to confront a wildfire together. For IU, it was a reminder that even the brightest stars can be dragged into darkness without warning. For Jong-suk, it was proof that standing firm beside someone you love can rewrite any narrative. And for Bogum, it was the unexpected weight of responsibility, and the profound relief of finally setting things right. As they quietly stepped away from the spotlight, their unity became the final answer the world needed. No scandal, no betrayal. Just humanity surviving the roar of a rumor. Thank you for following this dramatic journey from the first whisper of chaos to the final moment of truth. Your time, your attention, and your support mean everything. Stay tuned to Behind the Bulletin as we continue bringing you the stories behind the headlines, the twists no one sees coming, and the moments that change everything. We'll see you again in the next story.